Right, welcome to the infrastructure meeting today, councillors and staff. Nobody in public forum. What we'll just do, we'll just open the meeting. Thanks everyone for attending, and we will close it until 2 p.m. or a bit earlier. So everyone happy with that? Right, so adjourn it till 2 o'clock-ish. Thank you. Right, good afternoon again, councillors. We'll declare the meeting open again and get into our agenda. So we got to, so I'll take apologies. So Councillor Peter Johns and Sharon are both tendered apologies. Moved Scott, seconded me Tracy. All in favour? Thank you, councillors. Public forum, we don't have anybody. Presentation, Dave has been most interesting. Thank you. Any declarations of conflicts of interest? What else? Oh, notification of any items not on the agenda. No. Conflicts of interest. Right, confirmation of minutes. Councillors, we've sent the minutes around of the meeting on 18 June. I'll just, we'll take those as read. I'll just flick through the pages. Page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6. Nothing to worry about there. I'll move on seconder. So Councillor Erina, Councillor Nye, thank you. All in favour? Right, so we'll move on to the reports. Let's have a look. Who's going to introduce the reports, Peter? We're going to. I guess I better tend to Hamish is ill, so we'll just don't know whether we need an apology for Hamish, but at any rate, as Hamish is ill today, so we will. Might just get you to manage it, Peter, shall we? Then we'll just take the management report as read, but I'll flick through page by page and just put your hand up as we get through. Thanks.
We got a team here today.
And we've got welcome Dan and Mike. We'll just I don't know and Joe's here as well. So we'll flick through, and then if we need you to jump up, we will. Okay. Page 1, which was executive overview, and then on to transport. Page 8, Three Waters, solid waste. Transport, page 9. Page 10, transportation network management overview.
Excuse me.
Sorry, Steve. Councillor Steve.
Just quickly going back through you, Chair Kerry, on that solid waste, just the rollout of the curbs side. That's all good, all planned going forward, and the locations of. It's still coming to council. Okay, thank you.
Page 10, which was transportation network. I guess just perhaps one question, Dan. Just the gorge detour routes handback. Anything to add? Oh, just grab a seat if you like, Dan. Anything to add there? I think Hamish did mention last meeting. Just any advances on where we are with that at the moment?
Through you, Chair Kerry. I unfortunately don't have an update regarding that. So Hamish has been liaising with NZTA with basically the MOU document regarding the agreement. That did send the draft one through to Loxa Hamish and Jessica to review, and Jessica's made some recommendations to change it. I think it was just some minor details, and that's been sent back to NZTA, but I haven't had any further update on that. Just what I will say is we are maintaining the roads at the moment, but any costs that's associated with that we're ring fencing, so that once that MOU is in place, then we can work through the details of that.
Me, Tracy, and then.
Thanks. Through you, Chair Kerry, is there a communications plan that sort of will go alongside that? Because it's a very high public interest item around what work's been carried out, cost to ratepayers and the levels that they'll be brought back at.
Through Chair Kerry, yeah, definitely. Once we get the MOU and have a good understanding of exact expectations, then yep, we'll roll out communication to the public regarding what the plan is.
Through you, Chair. Just page 11, just the willow poles unavailable, I think, for willows. Can you expand on that for us, please?
Through Chair Kerry, apologies, Andrew's not here. That's a project that he's got more detail than I do on. So when Andrew's back, I can follow up on that and get some more detail for you.
Sorry, I just jumped back through the chair. Back to the work with the Gorge tour and the handbag. So Jessica Smith has been working on that, and she's got the first draft that she's working on, and I've asked her for that communication plan. I just wanted to give you that assurance that that's coming through, and that the amount involved, can I disclose that yet?
It's in the email.
So the funding that we're expecting is 4 million as part of that handback. So it's just getting clarity around what that 4 million can be used and when. But it's roughly over a 48-month period, I think. Well, 2-year period. Sorry, 24-month period. Yeah. So I just thought it's a very active piece of work currently that's been done.
Thanks, Peter. Right, that's 11. That's one. Page 12. Here.
I don't know if you know anything about the Lindale Trail. I just wanted to ask, so you guys haven't heard back from Kiwi Rail, and that says it will just go to a cycling improvement, so that will just be, you'll have put in a cycling lane, is that what they're looking at instead of the walking?
Through Chair Kerry, so yes, that's correct. The concern with not having access to the Kia Rail area is the overbridge that we're trying to guide pedestrians around, and if we weren't able to utilise Kia Rail land, then the other option, that's probably the safest option, would be to look at something along the lines of the clip-on bridge, but with the funding that we have, it's not going to be affordable.
Here's page 13, missed that, page 14, page 15, page 16, page 17, page 18, page 19, which is start of Three Waters. Councillor Steve and me, Tracy.
Through you, Chair Kerry. Just going with the Akatea Road, I was out there the other day. That big hill that's on the constant move. How are we looking? I mean, you guys have done a fantastic job out there. But yeah, just after hearing the workshop we've just had, it will take 2 minutes to close that road.
Through you, Chair Kerry, so if that's referring to Beach Hill, Akatea, so we've had funding come through from that targeted funds for resilience to look at that hill. I don't have an update as far as any solution about what we're going to do with it, but team are starting the investigation works now that that funding has been confirmed. So we'll keep you updated in regards to what we can look at doing there, but it's certainly not a simple solution. So yeah.
Thank you.
Three Waters, that's right. Welcome, Mike. Page 19. Oh, sorry, me, Tracy.
Thanks, Chair Kerry. Just wondering, the Dennevu compounded supply, if someone can, obviously they've got some movement there and some pictures, if someone can talk us through that. And I guess, yeah, whilst it says there that you're not noticing it in water, it looks like quite a bit of disturbance there.
Kia ora through you, Chair. I will talk you through it. Yeah, Tracy, it's just I'd just like to highlight that at the time as well of this, just for awareness, I was actually on leave, so I left some instruction for these reports to be finalised. So I'm pleased to see a bunch of work continued in my absence, so that was good. And I've just finished off a bit of sickness as well over the last week, so first day back in the seat, so just as a bit of a caveat there. The ones there will require some extra analysis. Those repairs, as well as the frame repairs, are just highlighting the areas that they went to double check on. They didn't see any from that check. They didn't see any other any other pinholes or anything else that they thought was too concerning. There seemed to be some form of movement as to the base layer, but again, that's going to require us to go back to some of the dam experts, and we're just arranging the meeting there to sit down and go through that.
Let's make one other comment. Sorry, just the I went and had a look at some of the robotics with Pahiatoa School and Tarawa College, underwater robotics, and those kids are incredible in what they're doing, but also thank you to Mike for allowing them to have a look at some of the underwater technology that we've got and putting that into real life practice. So just thanks very much for doing that for our rangatahi.
Thanks, Mayor Tracy. And Mike, page 20, we'll finish there. Oh, Mike?
Excuse me. The submersible pumps, they are there to extract the water from 1 metre to 6 metres, is that correct? In the impounded supply?
I understand that they were first put on the top of that cover to facilitate some sort of emergency draw from below the 6 metres, in particular when it was originally found. We have experienced some, I think, from some vacuuming effects in particular in the hoses. So what we've done is we've spent a fair amount of time now actually understanding and doing the hydraulic calculations to make sure that we can actually draw from below that 6 metres effectively and efficiently. So those have now been confirmed as to what we now just need to do to address those submersible pumps so that they work into the future.
Subsidiary to that, please. So that would allow us how many days extra water to be consumed in a dry summer? Thank you.
I'm very stretched to answer that one at this current stage. I'll have to double check on the figures again and I can get back to you on that one.
Thanks, Mike. We have talked about those on and off, but that's completely out of my mind too, the amount of days there.
For context as well, I mean, we could just understand that we currently operate between 6 to the 9 metres, so that's the usable rate that we have for the Dannevirke town. Doing the additional 6 metres will obviously add more to it. I mean, it is sloped, but however.
Yes, these pumps we're talking about are able to pull that from under 600.
It struggled.
Okay. In progress by the looks here then. Page 21.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to ask about the intake line leak detection drone flights that went through, that's on the bottom of page 21. Just noting that that was talked about, it was communicated out on Council's Facebook page, and it received quite a bit of chatter about the time of year, and there were some serious expertise that was responded to on whether we were doing the right thing or not. I note that that was meant to be done between the 4th and the 7th of August. Do we know how successful that may have been? And if so, because the detail within this report is really helpful to understand why the time of year was chosen, what some of the benefits and the cost-saving benefits might be to do it. So just wondering if we would have a follow-up communication and education on that.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. Yes, so the UV was conducted. There has been a preliminary report at least given to us to just show what we could expect. So there's a couple of points that have been identified that are worthwhile of further investigation. I'm waiting for the final report though, so that was just passed over to us a few days ago. So yeah, I look positive that it's actually got a bit of an outcome on it, and I'm looking forward to reviewing the entirety of the report, and I'm more than happy to share that as well and put it into a future report.
Oh, so Peter, sorry.
I just note that as thermal differences, so it doesn't need to be dry in this instance. It's a heat difference issue.
Just while we're on here, Councillor Sharon just asked a couple of questions, Mike. One, she just asked about the Akatea extra tanks. Were they going there? Had they been installed or on site just yet? That was question one. The other question she would just ask us about the imaging. She just wondered if the imaging whether it had been done from Armstrong Road to along the alleyway up to the infiltration gallery. There's 200 or 300 metres there, I think. Not sure whether it's just off to the right of the first image on page 22. It runs from Armstrong Road down through Reed Farms, I think, to the river there. So she just wondered if that had been flown over as well. And just the Akatea tanks were a couple of questions to leave us. Thanks, Mike.
I feel very happy that I brought up a pen and paper. So the Akatea tanks, yes, they're on site. We're just working on the installation at the moment with our Tararoa Alliance, and then how that works out as well. There's a couple other complexities with Akatea, just being that there are a couple of tanks around there as well, and just making sure that we, let's say, make the network itself out there make sense and workable. So there's a couple of those, but we're just working through that at the moment. So it was good that it was being able to be brought out there, and it's all been put up, and they are fenced in. So yes, just waiting on the connection to the network. The flyover paths are there. Outside of that, I wasn't tracking any additional flyover pathways. So if it's not on that map, then it would not have been done. However, I can double check and I'll confirm that anyway on the next report. Will do.
Sharon. Councillor Steve.
Thank you, Chair Kerry. Just on those flyovers, and obviously this is a satellite picture, it's not a drone picture because it's too high, the altitude. But while we have got a full drone division, and we're talking about Akatea, we were at a public meeting the other day, and one of the questions put to us was about the Akatea water supply, and we were quite, I was quite pleased to say that the council is actively doing good work going forward for the residents of Akatea. But the question I ask, because we have got a full drone department and very capable, that question which I asked 3 years ago, according to our bylaws, every house out there must have a tank, and we still don't know if they've all got a tank. And as I pointed out at this public meeting, everyone needs to help each other, because at Christmas, it doesn't matter how many tanks you guys have put in, their population doubles by 100%, and it's not designed for the 2-week Christmas period. But just going back, could we ask for the drone department to go out and see if we can get that figure, because it is in the bylaws of our district. Every house out there must have a tank. Thank you.
Through you, Chair.
I don't have any directional say over our drone department per se, councillor. However, I am aware that we have one drone operator that manages that, being Blair, and I think there's probably only myself as the other. Yeah. The other part that I'd like to say, though, is that the Akatea community has been working quite well with us, and that one of the members has reached out and is looking to conduct a bit of a door-to-door check around there, and he's been linked into our new asset information tech, and we'll be logging his results as well as a private asset in our system, so we can start understanding that part as well. So hopefully that part there will turn up some good results as well on that.
That's so good to hear. Great, thank you.
Thanks for that, Mike. We'll pop over to page 26, I think we are. Yeah, page 20. Sorry, Councillor.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chair. Great news to see the Pahiatua wastewater treatment plant chemical relocation project go ahead. Saw that was slated to arrive on 8th of August. Is that complete now and all the chemicals out of where they were?
Through you, Chair, I was just on site in Pahiatua as part of my first day back, was to go and have a look at it. So, yep, I was very happy to see that it had been installed last Friday. We're just working through a couple of other tie-ins for it, but yeah, very happy to see it.
And thank you. Great that it's up, but just from a health and safety perspective, just to double check, all the chemicals are now located within that building, or have we still got a couple of things to do?
I believe we still have a couple of things left to do on the building itself, just to tie into. However, once it's all closed out, and will be formally closed out as the part of the health and safety. So yes, certainly is now that we've got it on site and on, so it's great.
Thanks, Mike. We'll go to page 26. Councillor Steve.
Yeah, just a quick one. While we're on the relocations of the chemicals, and obviously what it did cost were basically in the wrong place. So is the whole district being audited, and everything that could corrode things are in the right places under the right conditions, so we're not having a faux pas? I don't know. It was well out of your time. You guys weren't even here.
Through your chair, I haven't actually started any of those sort of reviews. I haven't. All we did was pick up the one that had to be done and address that issue. It's certainly something I suppose I could look into, but at this stage, yeah, the answer no.
Yeah, that's good, because we just don't want to. We don't want to lose any more money. Thanks.
Just on the page 26, the Ikitahona water reticulation, just if we could make note to make contact with the community board, they're on the ground there and can, directly deal and answer questions to members of the public, that would be really helpful. Thanks.
Good, yeah, thanks, Ms. Tracy. Mike's taken note of that. Page 27. Page 28. I did make a note with page 28. We've got some leaks that we haven't got a cause for, isn't it? So no change to that at this page.
Sorry, Chair, through you. On that, from what I understand, following that, it seemed to stabilise, and we didn't have any other anomalies.
Right.
The public notice had its effect.
yes. Yeah, public notices will do that. Page 29. Page 30.
Just on page 29, just again, the Ikitahona wastewater treatment plant, I think there was some mention that the community board didn't know about that. So it's just making sure, and I guess that's part of the project sheets and bits that I think, with some of those we need a communications plan and a clear understanding of who those stakeholders are. Yeah, thank you.
That sounds reasonable with those for sure. Always high public interest, isn't there, with our locals. Page 30. Page 31. Page 32. Page 33. Page 34. Mayor Tracy and Mayor Tracy.
Sorry, if I can just go back, the water permits on page 33, that's quite a large difference that we're applying for in Norsewood from 50 cubic metres to 90 cubic metres for 81 connections, and quite a high usage, per household. Have we done any other works? And I guess, 50 cubic metres was always okay prior to this. What is the surge in water? Given that, and look, I guess that's from a bore, as opposed to the new one. I guess I'm just querying, we keep going for additional water as opposed to looking at why that usage has got up so high and what that changes. So that was my only query.
Through you, Chair, I could certainly look into more about at least making some assessments. It will be challenging to make those kind of assessments without, the same sort of metering systems that we're looking at having in place in the future. I mean, one thing though that I am aware of is that when we did do some of the work to the bore and we're doing the water treatment plant upgrade, was that, we had to address both some leaks there as well as calibrations of those meters. So it's also perhaps an assessment as well that it may have not been actually reading correctly to start with. But yeah, there is a lot more work to go there, so I'll certainly look into it.
Yes, we did talk about that because that's well above that daily usage per metre, isn't it? But just going back a couple of years, we had quite a discussion about the poor condition of the pipes at Norsewood, didn't we? And I think one of the water team did bring some photographs into us actually, and we did talk about we were trying to fix one end, but there was the pipe. There was. I don't know where we got with that, but there was. Peter may remember even about that, but I can't recall where we went with it. But we did note the condition of the pipes and thought that was something we'd look at it in the future. But maybe it's part of the project now, Mike. I don't know.
Through your Chair, there's quite a lot, I suppose, to be said about Norsewood. I mean, there's certainly different numbers of assessments. I mean, we've done the upgrade to the treatment plant, so the water that it's producing is nice and clearer. You've got the clean outs of the entire reticulation system as well, which I haven't had any further complaints about to date that I am aware of, so that's really positive. So, I mean, again, perhaps it's also increased in usage based on the water being actually not brown at some of the houses, so that could be another part of that assessment. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine for that. Thanks, Mike. We're at 34, page 35. Councillor.
We're on to solid waste now, is that correct? I do have
I have just one last piece on the administrative. Through your Chair, just as a side out, we're all back on deck. Our water treatment operator is back from his extended period of leave. And online with that as well, we were looking at some of those operational reductions and savings and efficiencies that we were looking at that we received for the Paitoa wastewater treatment plant and into Woodville. So just wanted to highlight that, while we're back in, that it's definitely not fallen off the radar and we are pursuing those again.
Yes, thanks, Mike, for that. And thanks, Dan, for a very good report as well. So, great, Dan. Right, shall we get Joe into the front line for a moment? Afternoon, Joe. Good to see you as usual. Right, I think...
thanks very much, Mr. Chair. Thanks for your report. As always, Joe, it's always good to see what's happening and the work you're doing. I did just want to ask about the process for contaminated recycling. And the reason why I ask, I had a call very recently from someone who has experienced the process from a ratepayer perspective. So this is their recycling that was contaminated. The situation of, I have asked them to send this through operationally, so you're able to see it, but I just wanted to see how it works as standard. The situation was someone else had put something into their recycling. I think it was some building waste. Their recycling wasn't picked up completely understandably because it was contaminated. They found out why. It wasn't, I think they spoke perhaps to the operator. They said, oh, we didn't know about that, fair enough. And the recycling bin was removed on a first offence. And when they called through, they were told that they had to have some education before it was returned. My understanding was that we sort of stickered, we did other bits and pieces, but it jumped out at me as unusual, so I was keen to understand what our process was. So I have asked this person to send it through operationally, but keen for us to understand too, Joe.
Thanks, through you, Chair Kerry. Yes, I actually know the incident you're speaking of, yep, and it was wrong of them to have taken it first offence. It was badly contaminated, but it was first offence, and they did get reminded from me that it's first offence is not, I don't care what's in it, it's not acceptable, because until we've actually had that discussion with them about doing the right thing and the consequences, then it just can't be taken first up. And like I've explained to the team, we're actually still coming across people for a first time. Yeah, because as you can see from the numbers, I mean, we've got best part of 5,000 bins out there, and it's hard to get across everybody. So I said, even though this is frustrating for us, still seeing the same things, it's actually not the same people or the same bins that we're actually coming across. Some of them are the first time we're coming across them. Yeah, so, and we're trying to do that benefit of the doubt, and first and second time around is education. Most of it is just a few soft plastics that we put around the sticker around and give them literature and put it in or near the mailbox, and the bin still gets emptied. But yeah, when it is majorly contaminated, we try and avoid it going in the truck altogether, but that's when it's meant to get straight rejected, not taken on a first offence.
And thanks, Joe. That's very encouraging to hear, because that was my understanding of the process, and I totally understand how frustrating it must be for the team. But I suppose if we're going to be getting buy-in from people, and this was a very reasonable person who mentioned it to me. Not that others aren't, but a particularly reasonable person. But I think it was the whole bin gone. You need to have a phone call to be re-educated, so that the tone of that, and then told that their bin would be checked every time for the next 4 empties. And if it was a second offence, totally get that, or a third, but yeah, encouraging that I can share that out to people, that shouldn't happen on a first offence. So thanks Joe for looking into it, and actually also encouraging to note, if you knew about it, it obviously is quite an anomaly if you knew about the case, so that gives me more comfort too. So thank you.
Sorry, just to add to that, I was caught a little bit off guard because I spoke to them myself and I said, no, that shouldn't have happened. Yep, so I said, let me speak with my team, because I wasn't sure at that point if there was a previous history of, but the address didn't flag up for me either. Yep, so I reminded them, you cannot take it first time, even, it doesn't matter how badly contaminated that first time is. They've got to have that discussion first. The only good thing with taking it is it does bring the discussion to the table, and we all get on board with who's doing what and why and what you're supposed to do. So the bin got returned in that same day, and it wasn't a problem.
All's well that ends well, Joe, isn't it? I was just going to say, while we're on it, Joe, too, I've had some really good feedback from the Dannyburg locals about how things are looking up there. Looks great at the Dannyburg transfer station. Yeah, by gee, has it ever. So page 35, Tracy.
Thanks, Chair Carey. Just on page 35, the drop-off sites, I have note we're looking at a new site for Norsewood. Have you had any discussions with Norsewood Promotions or the team out there as well, keeping them in the loop of where you're looking at, how that works?
Not at this stage. It was basically at the stage of identifying a potential location and sorting out with the Alliance team how feasible that is in terms of its location, blocking traffic visually in terms of entering and exiting Thor Street, and yeah, services that may be underneath, wind blow onto the highway, stuff like that. Yeah, so just working with them at the moment as to whether it's doable before we go further. Yep.
Councillor.
Yeah, just on that, we did have a chat with the Ormondville ones. They're very happy and with the way it's going. So it's just a matter of process, where and where. So there is watch this space. It's very positive, and I think same with Norsewood. I think going forward there is some work that's happening, and I think both the resolve of those two transfer stations going forward will be positive for all. But it's a process that these locations that are going to. But that we're not going to alienate any of them. They're all kept in the loop on the way going through. We're just working through, because it's my bit of my area, my portfolio, or whatever we call my area, out there. I've gone out and chatted to a few people. No one's, they're receiving the work going forward with great, especially if we can tie that in and then go around the corner and look at the Ormondville Viaduct at the same time. Anyhow, that's another story.
Sorry, yeah, there is at the moment a little bit of a challenge with the Ormondville site, but I believe that facilities and legal team are working through that. Just being able to repurpose or reusing of reserve land. Yeah, there's a few things around that. So, but we're trying to work on how we can get around it and make it happen. Yep.
Thanks, Joe. That's 35. We'll go to page 36, which is the good news for Dannyburg. Looking very sharp. Page 37. Me, Tracy.
Thanks, Chair Carey. Just really enjoyed the curbside bin audit report. I think that's really valuable to see where, how that's tracking and, just the attention to detail that is paid there. So, and great for people to see, that's I was surprised at the level of contamination, to be fair.
We were very much trying to give context around that and showing actively. I'm hoping that over time the numbers are actually going to shift with the methods that we have in place to educate and or remove bins. Yeah, obviously removing bins is a last resort, not a first. But yeah, and having a bit of a map down the bottom of what each one of those categories sort of meant. Yeah, we should see a shift in that over time is my goal with that.
Thanks, Joe. That was really interesting, and to see the detail and that information actually. So great for that. So that was page 37. That's the end of that report. Thank you very much, Joe. And we'll appreciate that as always, Joe. Mike, do you want to pop forward and we'll do your portfolio reports? Oh yes, so certainly would. So yes, just someone's just asking me to get a mover and a seconder for that report. Councillor Mike, second Councillor Scott. Thank you. All in favour? Thanks very much, councillors. Just keen, too keen. Welcome again, Mike. So shall I just go through I'll go through the pages and one at a time, councillors, and then just put your hand up for any questions. So Just give me 2 seconds. Oh, I'll start at the front on the report. So, page 1. I'll go to the page, no, it's page 40. Page 41. Page 42. Page 43. Page 44. And on to the sheets. Right, sheet 1, Dannevirke and Pound Supply. Everybody happy? Councillor, oh sorry, Mayor Tracy.
Can I just get the Dannevirke Community Board added to the key stakeholders? And I'm just sort of trying to plug those gaps where we might be falling down in comms. That would be great, thanks.
Thanks, Mayor Tracy. District Water Network, metering, universal metering. All good there. Dannevirke impound pre-treatment, impound supply pre-treatment. Wastewater infiltration inflow strategy. We're going okay. Oh, Peter?
Just really quickly back to the reservoir, the acquisition of the land being completed will now allow the area to be developed for that secondary treatment system or pre-treatment system.
For that update, Peter, that's good news. We can get on with that. Telemetry and SCADA upgrade. Councillor Scott.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chair. Just a really quick question on that. Looking at the budget, with the approved budget and the estimate at completion being so much lower, brilliant seeing it being 77% under budget. But what's the reason for that? Is that correct?
Through you, Chair. So, yeah, we're going to have to work on these reports still. I know that we've had some of these parts where it's come out saying under budget and online with budget expectations and forecast to completion. So I just have to work on that part there. That's just actuals to date as well, and that estimated completion. I'll just have to see where they're at with those ones. But that looks like it's the green for actual spend against the budget. So yeah.
That's what I feared, but
it's just the way that our project's reporting software is coming through, that's all.
Perhaps a bit good to be true, isn't it, Councillor Scott? Yeah, thought we might pick up $500,000 there as well. It's, Paitua wastewater treatment plant. And Paitua pool. Alright, that's the end of those. Before we close, councillors, any further questions re infrastructure? Last words in your hands, Mike.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to say through this is that I'm actually really excited to see the start of this year. I think that you note that in this report here, you know, we've restarted, so we've closed out a lot of the ones that are not featured anymore. We've restarted a bunch of these ones in here in terms of the risk ones and the status updates. Everything seems to be taking along. I'm very happy to come back in after a couple of weeks off and see this all carrying on. So, yeah, I'm really happy with where we're at and the work that we've done so far to date. So I'm really looking forward to a strong delivery this year.
Thanks, Mike. Did Councillor Nye, did you have? Oh, Councillor Ali? So.
Thanks, Chair Carey. Swimming this summer, is there any plan in place yet, please, for the Paitua pool?
Being just back in, I will chase up with facilities and see where they're at with the existing Paitua pool. Yes, for sure.
You did. I did mean to comment actually, Mike. I was going to say, getting towards the closer to elections, I think we've come a long way with the infrastructure reporting and the detail and the photographs. So I think you and the team, and also Dan and the Alliance team with the transportation, I think the councillors, I would think, are really pretty happy in the detail and your handle on things. So just pass on our thanks to the team, but I think we've really got we've got a good handle with the alliances input into this report and the management and yourself. So just from me, but thanks very much. And I think we're in a good space really, and look forward to a good year. Pick a few of those things off again. And so on that basis, councillors, we'll close the meeting and